In a world where every Rob, Steve, and Lane has a podcast, two good brothers will try to rise above the rest. Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder invite you to pour a cold beverage, pull up a seat, and enjoy time with friends. Welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS.
Hello again, and welcome to another edition of Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that normally has Howard Blues, but he's snowed in so bad he can't make it to his computer or microphone. I'm the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Kidder. Thanks for joining me this evening, and as always, I can't do this by myself. I mean, I could, but I don't want to. It's more fun this way. So, this evening, there is sans Howard Blues, not Comic Sans like Rude Boy was saying a couple weeks ago, just the lack thereof. But he'll put his touches on this episode anyway. I am joined this evening by not one, you just see him right there, not one, but two of the Triple B friends. Yes, there he is. You keep getting the cutaway to him. That's JS Gunslinger. Good evening to you, JS.
How we doing?
Well, we're doing better now that Snowmageddon has passed. And before we get into that and what's on tap, we can't forget about the local geek himself, the Triple B Brewmaster. Welcome back again. Only a couple weeks ago, you were on for a monumental 1-year episode. So thanks for joining me this evening to talk about all these shenanigans.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad to be here and glad to help out in the absence of Howard.
Woo! So it's going to be another schlobber knocker of a show. Why? Because we are on location this evening. JS is out prowling for snow. He's killing snowmen.
That is right. Every one of them.
Just keep watching in the background whenever he shows up, because those aren't just street lights. Those are snowmen going over his hood.
Currently, I'm on snowman number 64, and I'm heading for 65.
You thought that we were kidding with this, but he's on it. He's on it tonight. So glad that both you could make a little bit of time for the Triple B again. And of course, we're talking about Snowmageddon 2022. It's the most terrible blizzard ever. Not really. It wasn't terrible. I mean, if you stayed at home or you had the ability to, like JS has, of plowing himself out or some heavy machinery, then you could go. But otherwise, you should have just stayed home. Me, I didn't have that option. I had to go to work. So I went to work the entire time.
Come on, big truck. You can make it. Come on. We're struggling, but I think we can do it.
That's just the lag. It's fine. He'll make it up the hill. We'll get there.
You can see level ground behind me through my window, I think. But
it's all level based on your perspective, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Just as long as the street lights keep going by this way and they're not on the bottom of the frame, I think we're in an okay position. So, just to clarify, JS, we're doing a what's on tap now. What do you have to keep you going through all of these 60-plus stops that you've made so far today?
I have a healthy dose of... Oh, come on. If I can get this thing into four-wheel drive here, not neutral. There we go. I have a healthy dose of super caffeinated Scenic Stay Awake coffee with a shot of half and half creamer and a bottle of water.
Double fisting tonight. I like it.
Damn right.
That's one of the things about the show is that we say, pull up a cold beverage. In this case, you can pull up a cold beverage and a hot beverage, and it's fine. You don't have to drink to be on the show. Drink alcohol. We want you to have a drink. Just doesn't have to be alcohol. So something that we do expect out of the brewmaster, though, is a frothy beverage, perhaps a barley pop, if you will. And this evening, Local Geek has something tasty from what he was alluding to. So what's on tap for you?
I have got a Fargo Brewing Company, There She Goes, prickly pear sour beer.
And you've had this before.
I have just recently had it. I bought a 6-pack, and I've had a couple so far. Not tonight, but...
Not yet.
So this is the first one of the night.
Okay. So what's your initial thoughts, thinking back to the other couple you've had in the previous days or weeks compared to now, and the aroma you're getting and the taste and whatnot?
I don't pick up a whole lot of the prickly pear flavor, although I don't really know what to expect for that flavor. But it is a very good beer. If you've had the Laughing Sons Space Probe Sour, I think it was called, the plum one that they did a while back, it tastes very similar to that without the plum syrup in it. And it's got a very lovely, like, reddish pink color.
And look at that glass that you have there.
In the Beer Blues BS glass.
I like it. Good work. So when you sniff it and you sip it, what do you got coming out of there?
It's got a nice sour flavor. I'm a big sour beer liker, so I gravitate towards those pretty heavily. In fact, awesome. When I picked this up, I was in Fargo, and I had every intention of picking up something from Icewind Brewing, and when I saw this one, I was like, I got to get that. And so I ended up skipping Icewind on it, but I'll get them next time.
You should have got all of it. I mean, it's not every day you make it to Fargo.
Right.
Well, I suppose it's time for me to open up the Triple B fridge and see what we have this evening. Let's go top shelf. I just moved some stuff around. This one, I don't know if you want to call it a sour just by looking at it, or if you want to just go with a wheat is what it claims to be. But this is the Rind Over Matter wheat series from Bell's Brewing. Or Bell's Beer, 12 fluid ounces. It is a wheat ale with lemon and orange zest. Yes. 5% per alcohol per volume. Puerto Rico, do not litter. So don't litter in Puerto Rico, according to the can. Shelf life, 6 months. That it's going to be good then. And of course, Ball Corporation right there at the bottom for your Colorado Avalanche. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. Take a sniff. Yeah, you get the hit of the lemon right off the top. Very citrusy. And the weedy taste on it. And right away, I'm not tasting so much of the orange, but you do get the lemon on it, so not too bad.
I think somebody wants a sip.
Yeah, you're not old enough yet. Your birthday's coming up in May. I know. He's gonna be 4, and so in cat years, that's got to be at least 21. But for his health and safety, I'm not gonna give him a beer.
My cat's gonna be 14 this year.
Not good.
Actually, this month.
Perfect. Well, happy birthday to your kitty.
Oh, not good. Not good.
You okay? It looks like the steering wheel's coming off the thing there.
I'm trying not to get my car, so
Okay. I'm glad to see that nothing much has changed in the past 3 days. People are still driving like idiots.
Yeah. And there's another person running out in the middle of the street. Don't play Frogger with the giant snowplow.
So, does that mean that we need to talk about Snowmageddon right away? I know local geek put on there of what did we do when everything was shut down? What was going on? So, I think we know what you did, but give us a quick recap, because you've been out today all day, pushing snow, pulling people out, whatnot. What else did you have going on during Snowmageddon?
You can make full big truck. Here we go. I can do it. Sorry. I'm attempting to not crash. Oh, shit. Made it. Okay. Well, I was utterly exhausted from the day before. The day before, I had been out for 27 hours straight, clearing snow and pulling out stupid people. I pulled at least 10 people out from the same spot on Lincoln Road. Oh, God, this is a dead end. I don't like this town. I pulled at least 10 people out from the same spot on Lincoln Road. The street was fine, and the road was fine, and then it would all of a sudden turn to pure hell. It would go from somewhat icy to instantly 3 feet of snow. And there was no getting through it. The cars that would stop would end up in the middle of the highway or in the driving lane. And I couldn't leave them there because there was going to be a hell of a crash if I did. Because the guys in pickups wouldn't see them, and because there was absolutely no visibility, so you'd have people in pickups just barreling through there trying to make it through. So I ended up pulling out, like I said, at least 10 people from the same spot. Started out that day doing snow removal. I blew a tire on the trailer, so I had to dump the machine at the church and home with just the pickup and trailer to attempt to change a tire. First roundabout, there was 5 people stuck in the same spot. Guth Miller Dirtworks actually brought out a road grader in order to get everybody out of there. I'm happy to say that I'm the only one who wasn't stuck at that point. Then made it to the mile-long driveway that I have and proceeded to bury the plow truck in the driveway because the snow was, again, 3 feet deep. Ended up walking for a mile through the blizzard, terrible, god-awful conditions to get to the house and get the big tractor so I could chew my way back through and pull and drag the pickup and trailer back to the house. And then had to proceed to go back with the wife to get the skid steer. And then that is when the rest of the interesting night commenced. This is a big help.
And what other interesting things did you have going on?
Every time I came through Lincoln Road, there was another vehicle that was stuck in there, or 2.
Of course.
So every time we went through, we had to pull another vehicle out. The last time I went through, I was trying to dig a path for the car, the Chevy Impala, that this wonderful gentleman, who's a dumbass, was trying to make it home in a Chevy Impala in the middle of a blizzard. He failed.
Sounds like it. The funny thing is I saw a Pontiac Grand Am driving around on Wednesday on my way to work, and I'm like, why? You made it to a snow emergency route that was partially cleared, so fine, but where are you going? Why? Where are you going to park that thing? Well, whatever.
I will say for me, the perk of working at a hospital is that's one of the first routes that they clear is to the hospital. So if I can get to a cleared route, I can most likely get to work.
True. If you can get out of your driveway.
Exactly. I'm lucky enough. I was thankfully able to work from home during the event, so I didn't have to waste a bunch of PTO time or try to drive into work. But
working from home would have been nice. But nope, not this time. Unable.
Where do I drop this machine?
Look at that. Side profile. We're getting all of the angles of all of the action. This is like live PD or live. What was the other one? It wasn't live FD. I don't remember. Maybe it was.
There's live everything. Oh, I think I found the right street.
Yeah, just watch. You're gonna end up busting through Local Geek's front porch or something like that. We'll see a bunch of snow come falling down into the set of the Brewmaster any second now.
I might have it.
hope not. It would be right over that way though if it happened.
Actually found the right street, or I'm going the complete opposite way. One or the other. I don't know.
I'm guessing both. That is the right street and it's backwards. Because why not?
Is this it? Ha! I found it. I win. Oh,
We helped, Derek. We helped.
We sure did.
well, the skidster is going to get parked, or the trailer is going to get parked right in the middle of this road because no one needs to get through here anyway. So they're just going to have to deal with it.
This is gonna be awesome.
This is the attitude I have had pretty much all day. I no longer have any things to give. It's a fair show, so I'll try and keep the bad words out.
That's good. Helps less bleeping in the end. Well, I would ask if there's anything else that was going on with JS Gunslinger, but we're in the middle of what's happening, so we kind of already know.
I was somewhat excited to show you the progress in the basement when we did this. However, we're not going to get to that point because I'm not going to be home for another 3 to 5 hours. So
That's okay.
I'll be
when
honest,
you-
this is
when
probably
you-
just as exciting, if not more.
I'm going to flip the camera around.
You're gonna
How do we do that?
strap it to the windshield of the skidder, and we're gonna watch all of this happen.
Is there a way to flip the camera facing forward?
I'm sure you click on the camera button and then maybe a swap on it. See this there?
There it
Look,
is.
we're doing this. It's live. It's F it. We'll do it live. We're making this up as we go.
Whatever. I'm just gonna do this. Can you see out of the pocket?
Yep.
Perfect.
This is going to be interesting.
You're gonna get a live PD view right here. This is how my day has been going.
I love it. It's all dark and depressing.
Through the machine.
All right. Well, aside from working at home, there, Local Geek, anything else during Snowmageddon? Were you stuck indoors the entire time, or
For the
did
most
you?
part, yeah. We took the little guy out and let him play in the snow for a little while, and we I did go out on Wednesday. I took the chances of getting off my street and trying to get to a main thoroughfare and went up to Walmart to pick up some things that we needed. We had all of the supplies we needed, but the little guy needed some extra food and stuff for what he's been picky about eating, so I figured I'd take the chance. It's only 2 blocks to get over to a major road, and was able to get out and made it to Walmart, and then got to thinking, it's uphill every way I go coming home. So let's see if this happens.
Oh.
But I made it back home, and once I turned traction control off, I was able to get back into my parking spot on the street. Without that, I just slid down the middle of the road and didn't turn at all when I tried.
You gotta hate not being able to turn when you try to turn.
Right?
It's not how it's supposed to work. But
it's called traction control, but it took my control away.
Yeah, that sounds more about right. That it takes it away from you. Yeah, on Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I made it fine, but Thursday it got too deep. So I should have taken the wife's vehicle, but the boss ended up coming over in his lifted up truck and picking me up. So it was nice because I didn't have to pay for gas to work that day, but I probably burned enough of the gas from what would have been to and from work trying to get out of my street. Made it, I don't know, halfway out to the emergency route and got high centered and shoveled out around my tires, put it in reverse, backed all the way up to my driveway, and just went back into the driveway and into the garage. That was.
Yeah, I was a little nervous when I went out because I was scraping the belly of my car all the way over to the main streets. And
your vehicle is high enough where you can make it through decent snow.
Yeah, I wasn't scraping bad enough that I was worried about getting stuck, but coming back in, I did just about get stuck a couple of times just because I didn't have the momentum I had when I got out of my parking spot. But
did you run into some of those areas where the slush had broken through and whatnot from people driving, and so then you're going kind of like this, kind of like what you tried to do with your parking space there?
A little bit of it, just a block from my house. There was some of that. That's where I almost got stuck at, was where that was going on. But for the most part, it was actually pretty smooth. The worst part about it was when I went out Wednesday night was right after the wind picked up. And I don't know how familiar you are with the Mandan Walmart, but it's up on the hill kind of with nothing surrounding it. So there was a lot of blowing snow.
Hey, speaking of blowing snow, we're getting
some video over there again.
We see some lights now. And of course, should we
unmute him? Or I guess you maybe have control over that?
Well, let me see. What can I do it? That's the question. Oops. Well, there. We can just... I can pin him, but it doesn't actually show him. And I apparently can't... wait. Yeah, you can't unmute someone else. I can mute somebody, but I can't unmute somebody else. How does that work?
That's unfortunate.
What kind of...
You're an admin. You should be able to.
What kind of video service is this? Come on. This is like rookie stuff. I don't know. Oh, let me see if I can do this. If I turn something else, nope. Well, I went full screen. No, this is great. Don't you love this? It's like troubleshooting. We're doing more troubleshooting as we're figuring things out. So while I try and figure this out and see if we can get the live video, I know what I can do. Although he might be unmuting himself momentarily here. I have an idea. You're gonna love this.
You got a screen recorder going?
Well, I mean, maybe.
Then Howard could at least edit parts of it in. Because he likes to have more work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. More work for future Howard. No, I'm going to make this nicer for him, so he hopefully doesn't have anything extra to try and mess with, because I'm nice like that. Try to be. So, well, I'm figuring this thing out. Are you watching anything? What's new?
I haven't been watching a whole lot new since the last time we talked. We're still on the Jurassic Park kicks. We've been watching lots of that. Although we have graduated, we've started watching Jurassic Park 2 now. So, a little bit of new stuff.
Good. I know we talked about it before, but any Marvel or other series you're watching or something like that?
Nothing recent. We did watch Jessica Jones when that one came out on Netflix way back a couple years ago now. But other than that, we haven't really watched much of the other Marvel ones.
I like it. I I have been watching a couple different things. Some of them are in the Marvel verse. For instance, Moon Knight. The third episode was just released. So we were watching that. We went through Hawkeye. I know we talked about that before. Halo, watching Halo, and Picard, season 2.
Nice.
So that's a couple things that's going on. I thought I had this figured out. Haven't watched any real movies or anything like that.
Yeah, we haven't really either.
See, I was going to make this easy for future Howard, but it does not want to make it easy. So, oops. Yeah. I was going to make it easy. So, yep. Well, we'd ask JS what he's watching, but right now he's watching out the front of the skid steer.
You could maybe join from your phone and like record the screen from your phone and
I'm going to start just recording it to start out with, and maybe, just maybe, I can get this figured out, figured out. But let's see. Other than that, no, nothing else too crazy going on.
Yeah,
I know you. Same with you. Good. Because sometimes it's nice to not have anything really crazy going on.
Right?
Because, I mean, why, right? You don't want a bunch of crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, we got the little guy was doing some teething last week or the week before. He's getting those last couple molars on the bottom, so he wasn't sleeping super great. And that was a fun couple days.
Yeah, I imagine that wouldn't be too much fun. I mean, as far as I know, it's been quite a while since I've been teething or had, teeth problems or anything. So I'm happy to say that I haven't had to worry about that for a while.
Right.
But no. Maybe if I do that. No. I'm trying to make this work to make it easy for Howard. Easy. I'm recording it. He can figure it out. We'll share that. You and I get to watch the preview of all of it, but
right.
Howard's missing out. So I wanted to ask you about your latest project. What do you have going on with the tasty beverage department? Because I know that you're still working on some beers and stuff. So what's the new the new thing? What do you have going on over there?
The next one I'm still looking at doing. I'm pretty sure is going to be an Irish Red. That's the style I've been wanting to make for a while and just haven't done so far. So, figure that's a decent beer to have for summertime drinking, and it'll be a fun one to make, I think. I haven't delved in to get a recipe knocked out yet for it, but
I gotcha.
Then my kegerator, I'm still kind of working on that. I got to get a 2x8 to finish putting that together, and then I should be, hopefully this next beer will go into that.
So if I'm correct, you're saying that you do not have a beer being brewed at the moment.
That's correct. In fact, all of my equipment is at my brother's house right now because that's where we brewed in the wintertime, and the next one will be probably back here again, so I got to go retrieve all that. But
I gotcha. Well, I'm sad because you don't have something in the oven, but
I wouldn't mind just leaving my stuff at his house and just brewing there all the time, but his schedule and my schedule don't always line up to be able to do a brew day over there, so
it's kind of like when we were trying to set up a time when we could be over there for a brew day. It's like this isn't working, but we got to try and make it work.
Right. I do have a key for his house, and he wouldn't mind if I went over and did one on my own, but it's one of those things. I'm playing around with a propane burner and stuff at his house. I'd rather he be present just in case something was to happen.
I'm sure there's some kind of exception in the homeowner's insurance that would rule out paying for the damage if you messed with something. I'm sure there's something silly like that, but whatever, right?
Yep. Some kind of older brother clause on there.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Does any of this video remind you or make it like bring back some of those memories of us driving around after school?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm pretty sure it was a snowstorm not quite this bad that you drove sideways in.
And it's kind of fun because we're watching the snow get moved, and of course the camera is going all over the place. He's got it in his pocket. Yeah. Just waiting for monsters to jump out, and then he dumps a pile of snow on top of them or something.
Dumps a snowman on top of him.
Yeah, the snowman on top of another snowman. The Blair Snow Project. That's what it is. The JS Snow Project. Ooh, scary. The funny thing is he probably can't even hear anything that we're saying right now.
I'm sure that skid loader he's got's pretty loud.
Yeah, it's probably loud enough. I mean, he's got his hands on the controls, and he looks like he's doing a fine job over there. And we're gonna have that video for Howard that he's gonna be able to just block us out for I don't know. How long can we do this? 20 minutes? 30 minutes? However long it takes him to clean out this driveway,
or he could just put a few shots in here and there in between what we're talking about when we talk about it. However he wants to do it, he's the master.
He's gonna love that you said that. Overlaying the video. Howard. He's gonna love it. Actually, it might work out okay, so you might be onto something. The other thing that I noticed you put on there, the alcohol laws and history. You said you wanted to say something about Prohibition. We haven't talked about Prohibition on the show. The whole shutdown of alcohol back in the day. So am I on the right track there? You wanted to do something along them lines?
And initially, I actually put it on the run sheet because, you can see my glass is empty.
Oh, man. Time to refill. What do you got?
So, what I'm going to refill with is some absinthe, which has its own spattered history, which prompted me, that's maybe something that's worth talking about. So this is, it's the Jade 1901 series.
So in theory, this is the older stuff with the older absinthe with the psychedelic chemicals taken out because they're all illegal.
So that's part of something I was going to touch on with it. That's why absinthe was technically made illegal. However, the amounts of thujone, which is the psychedelic element in it, are below 10 milligrams per kilogram, and they always have been, which means it's the equivalent of an NA beer where they can be at 0.5% or less and considered free of it.
Interesting.
So
that's still today, or that's the old
Right.
law.
That's been forever, but in 2007 is when it was officially declared to be something you could legally purchase. So
what's the big deal about the absinthe? What was its issue back in the day, or even now? Just made people lose their mind, or
sort of, yeah. So I'm gonna put my camera on this here when I pour it, so you can kind of watch the process as it goes. So I poured about an ounce of absinthe in the bottom of the glass here. Then I've got a sugar cube and water that I'm mixing with it. And you can kind of see as it pours in, it's going to get kind of a milky color as it goes. And then once it's done, it's kind of a milky white with kind of a green hue to it at the end.
and what's the reasoning for that? As I take away from the incredible visuals that we have.
So that's I guess I would call the proper way to serve it. There are other ways that people do serve it, but typically it's done this way. It's sort of a presentation thing where you can see that it swirls the colors together and works its way into. It's called a louche, is what they call it.
Louche. Is that Swedish, Danish?
I'm guessing it's probably French.
Ah.
Because absinthe is a French beverage.
Interesting. And what, so compared to the regular out of the bottle versus just with the sugar, is there a difference in the odor? And obviously a sweeter taste because you're adding sugar to it, but does it change some of the other properties with it?
Not so much the odor. The odor's pretty much the same. The big difference is that out of the bottle, this particular one is 68% in the bottle. So you dilute it out a little bit, it gets down to that 30 to 40% that most alcohol tends to be served at. And then the water, of course, gives it changes the flavor profile a little bit. It's fairly bitter if you were to just take a shot of it. And it's also got that licorice flavor that can drive some people away from it.
Yep.
Personally, I like black licorice, so although my wife does not like black licorice and she does like some absinthe, so there is a little bit of a leeway there as far as the flavor profiles go. But when you get down into the history of absinthe, one of the big contributing factors to it becoming outlawed was actually the wine industry back in the late 1800s. Absinthe started getting pretty popular, and it was very affordable for basically everybody in all of the classes. And around the 1860s, 1870s, there was an insect that ended up decimating a lot of the grape crop in France and drove up the price of wine, which pushed more and more consumers over to absinthe because it was affordable. And then once the grape crop had recovered from that, then they were having trouble gaining back some of their people who were drinking wine previously. So they started pushing out propaganda saying that absinthe would make people go crazy and hallucinate and all the things we've heard about it. One big example of that was in 1905. There's a guy named Jean Lanfray, who was a Swiss guy, and he, in a drunken rage, murdered his family and tried to commit suicide. And it was later revealed throughout the day that he had consumed 2 glasses of absinthe, 7 glasses of wine, 6 glasses of cognac, 1 coffee laced with brandy, 2 creme de menthe, and after all that alcohol, it was the 2 ounces of absinthe that they deemed was the reason why he went crazy and decided to kill his family.
Yeah, because that was it.
Yep.
Sure.
So there's a lot of propaganda behind why it happened and different stories.
And you've gone green again.
Yes, got to match the absinthe. I got the green fairy now.
So to set the record straight, drinking a glass or two of absinthe doesn't make you crazy. There isn't enough hallucinogenic properties within it to affect you.
Correct.
And it tastes like nasty black licorice.
I wouldn't say nasty, but yeah.
Tomato.
So another thing about absinthe that you hear a lot about, and you see it in like movies and stuff a lot, is lighting it on fire, which is, it is done, but it's not something that anybody who actually likes the drink would consider proper. Typically you see it in like the Czech Republic and places where they have lower quality, so lighting it on fire kind of masks some of that flavor.
So if you were to pour a little bit into a shot glass, for instance, would you be able to ignite that in the shot glass?
Yes. At the 68%, it would most likely light. Once you've diluted it down, it probably wouldn't. What a lot of people do is they pour it over the sugar cube and then they light the remaining sugar. And then that kind of caramelizes the sugar and makes for a nice presentation, but the flavor I don't really care for. I've done it once just to try it.
And I'm guessing that you're not set up in the current realm to have, shall we say, the shot burn test to show off to everyone.
No, I'm not.
Okay. And of course, the whole burning alcohol thing, wasting alcohol.
Exactly, yeah.
We don't want that either. So
right, you're burning off the alcohol. That's why you're drinking it, right?
one would assume. I mean, some people like it for the taste, but I mean, it's black licorice, so.
Otherwise, we'd kind of talked a little bit about Prohibition at the beginning of this too, so I can go over some quick things I have noted down about Prohibition here.
I love speakeasies, which were, of course, in these times, this is what we talk about there, local geek, these times, the Prohibition era being recreated with these here fancy sorts of things, and the speakeasy, themed restaurants, or even the classically themed restaurant or bars.
Yeah,
I really enjoy them with classic cocktails, and a lot of these good cocktails, like the old fashioned, came about around this time.
Right, and yeah, like you say, we've got two of those kinds of bars in town here that I know of, at least. We've got 510.2 over in Bismarck, and we've got Thomas and Moriarty's in Mandan. 510.2 being more of the speakeasy style, and Thomas and Moriarty is more just classic cocktails and kind of honoring that early 1900s drinks.
And I have to say, he makes a hell of an old fashioned.
And he doesn't put a cherry in it.
I don't want to interrupt you guys, but I'm about to go live.
All right, let's see what's going on here.
Hi, ma'am. Oh, I didn't want to get any closer to your edge on this side because I don't know where your berm stops here. Okay. I'll shovel out the little bit in front of the garage door and in front of the walkout door there for you too. You want the garage doors open? If you want to open them, I can clear everything from the inside.
Look at that. Gentleman and a scholar. It's going crazy.
That's right. A little bit of live snow patrol action.
Yeah. We got some great sound effects as we talk about Prohibition. So I think hi Orion. Did you find the toy? Yeah? Okay. So local geek, you were talking about Banning alcohol. Well, we were talking about old fashions, and of course, a great old fashioned. You get some tasty whiskey. You get some simple syrup. You get some simple bitters. The orange zest. Boom. You stir it. You're good to go. No freaking cherry. No cherry juice. Nothing like that. Which I have to say that I was at a restaurant. It would have been last weekend. And asked for an old fashioned. And I was like, no cherry. And the guy's like, do you want the cherry juice? And I was like, no, I don't want anything cherry in it because it's not supposed to be in there. That is just supposed to be simply a delicious beverage with no cherry. That's how that goes. No cherry in it. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that. And I'm like, yeah, if you want something with a cherry, you get a Manhattan because that has cherries in it and the sweet vermouth. So if you want a cherry beverage, you do that. But if you want an old fashioned, no cherry. Now, depending on what communist websites you look at, they say that the cherry's optional. But here on the Triple B, there is no cherry at all. So if you want a great old-fashioned, in fact, a gentleman also supporting local businesses that I happen to meet at Thomas and Moriarty's said the best old-fashioned west of the Mason-Dixon line. I can't think of an old-fashioned that I've had east of the Mason-Dixon line, so I will have to agree that it is. But I take the floor away from Local Geek.
I will agree with you. That's been my go-to when I go to Thomas Moriarty's is the old-fashioned, unless I'm getting an absinthe. Absinthe is usually my number one go-to, and then if I have a second one, usually I'll have an old-fashioned, or if I'm just not in the mood for an absinthe, I'll have the old-fashioned. So going back to Prohibition, in the United States, that started in 1920 and it was repealed in 1933. During that time, the only legal uses of alcohol were for medicinal purposes, which is where I believe we get some of like the Dr. McGilty's brand, things like that. Or churches were allowed to use it for communion wine. We kind of talked a little bit about speakeasies. I've got one note about that here when I was kind of doing a little bit of research. Speakeasies were one of the first places in the country where people of mixed races would gather together and typically wouldn't have problems. So that's kind of a cool little fact, given during that time frame racism was a very big thing and that they were able to intermix with one another and have a good time having some beers or whatever they were having.
The beginning of craft cocktails, if you will.
Right. The other notes I've got in here were a few of the major beer companies that we're familiar with today that survived through Prohibition and the things that allowed them to survive. I've got Anheuser-Busch on the list here. They made all sorts of different products during Prohibition to keep their business alive, from infant formula to coffee, and they even did some things making vehicles.
Did they do the canned water back then as well, like they do now for large areas in crisis?
It wasn't listed in the article I was reading about it, unless you count the near beer that they made as canned water. Because they did make near beer, but once speakeasies became a thing, the near beer kind of fell off the profitability radar. So, next one on my list is Coors. They survived by making malted milk, ceramics, and porcelain, and they even made the porcelain that Edison's spark plugs used. Just kind of a cool little fact.
Yeah, like how do you make porcelain? I know that's a topic for a different episode, but an alcohol manufacturer making porcelain.
They converted their brewing vessels into porcelain making vessels. So I'm not familiar with the porcelain process necessarily, but I imagine it's kind of like a clay that they make and then harden it. So they would, I presume, use those vessels to mix the water and the clay and materials to make the porcelain. In fact, there's a company that exists today called Coors Tech with TEK, and they're one of the biggest manufacturers of porcelain in the world still that spun off from when Prohibition was a thing and Coors was making porcelain.
Crazy. What I will say is if anybody has expert knowledge or intimate knowledge of what the hell is porcelain, how do you make it, and the process, just go ahead and drop a line in the comments at the bottom of the video here if you're watching it on YouTube, or in the comments on any of the audio listening services as well, or our Facebook page. You can certainly do that too. Beer, Blues, NBS on Facebook. Go ahead and check it out. Now we see him. and his finger.
I think he's trying to unmute himself.
Figured we'd keep the anonymity from in case he gets a pat on the back for doing such an outstanding job. The good thing is I have a recording of what he's been doing. So
right.
Talk about Prohibition and going into a speakeasy. He's the brick building and he's pushing some snow out of the garage. So
so the
looking good over there. But
next
one
company I've got on my list here is Miller. They actually tried to sell their company off early in Prohibition unsuccessfully, but they survived by making their near beer, which worked, like I said, until the speakeasies kind of became a thing, and then that tapered off. But they had a bunch of real estate holdings as well that they were able to either sell off or rent out or utilize to keep profits up. They owned a lot of saloons, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of those were speakeasies.
Yeah.
And that probably helped their profitability as well, but that, of course, wasn't mentioned in the article. The next one on my list is Pabst. Again, they were making near beer, and then they leased space out to Harley-Davidson in their plant for manufacturing. And they also made cheese that they aged in their ice cellars and then sold the craft.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I wonder what the cheese, like what types of cheese they made or how it tasted.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It didn't really cover that either. Just that's what they did. I mean, the article was more about what these companies did to survive than going in depth on it, other than the one where they talked about the Edison spark plugs and the company's still alive for Coors. But and then
we're all about the hard-hitting questions here on the Triple B. You know that.
Then there's America's oldest brewery, Yuengling. They were in business almost a full century before Prohibition happened. And during Prohibition, they survived by making ice cream, which was recently revived in 2014. There was a Yuengling ice cream that was out on the market. I think it was 2014.
And I'm guessing it's just a special run. It's not still out.
I'm guessing so. I don't remember ever seeing it, so I'm thinking it was probably a local thing wherever they did it.
Well, that's disappointing because we could try that as a first on this show, reviewing ice cream. Right?
I do have in my freezer over here some of the Little Debbie Snacks ice cream, and we could review that.
You go right ahead. You go right ahead. If you want to talk about reviews, I was brought in as, quote, the reviewing expert for, what is it now? Perky Jerky. Have you heard of that?
I have heard of it.
So the guys I work with, one of them brought in a bag of this and tasted it and went, I don't like that, and then started passing it around. And then they called me, hey, there's something you need to try, was basically the phone call, and then hung up. So I was like, all right, went back and I tried it. I didn't mind it. cleaned up the bag just to, clean it up and get rid of it. But their basic flavor is heavy on the brown sugar. So it's different from your normal jerky flavor. And for those guys, it was kind of off-putting. Just the bizarre sweetness, like brown sugary taste with the jerky taste. But the jerky was super tender. So overall, I would give that jerky 3.5 out of 5. I'm sure, hopefully, they have other tasty flavors that I'll find at one point, because I like the peppery nature of that jerky. And of course, like I said, it was really tender. So, like that. Anyway, we're talking alcohol in the Prohibition era. So, next on your list, you had something else.
The last thing actually on my list is quite a bit before Prohibition. It's the Bavarian Beer Law. Have you heard of this?
I haven't. Maybe JS has heard of it. I think he likes Bavarian beer or Bavarian almonds. He's got to unmute himself though. We had the silent snow removal.
Well, the god awful noises that machine makes probably would have their eardrums out. So
have you heard of the Bavarian beer or Bavarian almonds, all that?
I've heard of Bavarian beer. I can't say I haven't heard of the Bavarian Beer Law, but I don't know 100% what it is.
I would suspect you guys have both probably heard of it. It's actually the law that states that beer can only contain barley, hops, water, and yeast.
Okay.
So that was written in 1516.
Wow.
And that law is the reason why you'll see sometimes a sour beer is served with the flavored syrup as like a sidecar instead of included in the beer, is because basically the bartender would serve you that syrup on the side with a wink and a nod and be following the laws of the beer laws.
Interesting. There is a YouTube channel called Oversimplified. I don't know if either one of you heard.
We can't promote that on this show.
There's another channel that my son watches a lot that goes into very simplified history. How's that? And
sure.
It's great. He talks about the Prohibition and brings up everything you were talking about, but in a childlike manner.
Cool. I'll have to check that out.
Anyway, sorry.
Do you have anything to add to the Prohibition? I've finished up what I had notes taken on. So,
for the most part, I heard a little bit of what you're talking about. Most of it sounded like it was how the different breweries and manufacturers would stay in business. Correct?
Yeah, that was the bulk of what I had for notes, and then the time frame that it actually occurred for.
There was also a lot of female involvement in both the enacting of the Prohibition and the repealing of the Prohibition. Both of it was, as far as I know, was led or got the traction from female delegates to either Congress or local representatives who wanted to push for this. Later, when it was repealed, or I guess when it was started, there was actually a group of women who would go into bars and would smash open barrels of beer and different other alcohols with a hatchet to get this thing passed. It's very interesting that other show goes into more detail about it, and I cannot remember that individual's name, however, but
that's interesting.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot of detailed knowledge about it that I can spout without getting something wrong, and I don't want to do that.
Sure. Yeah, I just went out and did some quick research to try to have some stuff to talk about on top of the absinthe portion that I talked about. So
Yeah, and I would have done homework on this had I not been very involved in Snowmageddon. So I would have been a wealth of knowledge. However,
You're out there doing the triple B work for everyone to attach us to what you're doing. We had nothing to do with it, but you're doing it. So thanks for doing it.
If Derek, are you over in the Mandan area? Is your driveway clear?
yeah, mine is clear actually right now. Thanks.
I'm gonna smoke this little Mercedes real bad. Get out.
And of course, liability purposes, we can neither confirm nor deny that he purposely did anything on his end. And it looks like he's still driving. So I think we're good.
The Mercedes comes all the way into the oncoming lane of traffic to make its turn. You don't go head on with the blade. It's not going to work.
No. Yeah, until the plow comes up my street again, I'm cleared out pretty good. So
Cool. All right. I figured I would throw it by while I'm over here. So
sure. Thanks. I appreciate it.
That's what somebody else learned the hard way up near Grand Forks. They found the snowplow the hard way out on the interstate. Like, that's no, how? It's got a bunch of lights and it's orange and silver and, creates a big snow cloud. So just stay away from it.
Speaking of orange and lights, I have a video to send to you to enact your inner light rage.
Uh-oh. You weren't following the county plow again, were you?
Yes, I was.
So to let our viewers, listeners, and the local geek in on it, the end of the legislative session in 2020 into 21, the legislators and the DOT looked at some research, whatever, and allowed the maintenance vehicles to add flashing blue lights to the rear of the maintenance vehicles because the blue color spectrum is apparently able to pierce snow better than simple white flashing lights, LED lights. So all the state plows added amber and blue lights, and then the county decided to also do the same. What they didn't do is sync the light pattern between the different lights. So you look at it, and if they're at the point of their activation, they'll all go once, and you end up with blah! And then nothing, and then blah! And then nothing. And so if you're driving, you're like, what is that? And then you almost drive off the road. Or at the alternate, it'll alternate a little bit, but then it's stuttering back and forth, and you're like, what is happening here? You just know the place. And that's the one you found, wasn't it?
All four of these are set to major light manufacturer. It's random pattern. And they're all going at the same time.
That's great, because then you get, a bunch of strobing in your face, and if you have epilepsy or some other kind of light sensitive condition, you end up going into a phase or have a stroke or something, and maybe that's what happened. But the state plows have them synced, and they alternate, so it's not so obtrusive in your face.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's four random light patterns, and they go through four different flashes when they go through the random, but they're all going at different times. It's the most confusing thing I've ever seen.
I love it. I mean, I don't. I really hate it. It makes me feel like I have OCD, and then the OCD feeling goes completely nuts.
Yeah, I tried to send you the video through text message, but it was too large. I'll have to figure out a better way to do it.
I'll help you with the technology. We'll get you rolling, because I'm sure that you've got the Google Photos or whatnot, and we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, you'll enjoy and rage all at the same time.
And if we get it in time, just like those videos of the basement progress that you talked about earlier, we'll have it in this episode. So it's like we planned it.
There is a video of the progress on my business Facebook page.
And as we're recording this, do we have the legal ability to utilize that video and say a video production?
You are damn right you do.
Awesome. Look at that. Covering all the bases, because we don't want to get sued by anybody, because, you know, if we get sued, it'll be bad for them because we don't have any money.
Yes.
And judging by our subscriber count, I don't know if we have talent either, but that's a whole separate issue. What we need is the local geek, the brewmaster, to get his skills scaled into the mass production, and then we can hopefully get a triple B brew line and then get it out there to the masses, and then we can actually start funding this. How does that sound?
So the only caveat to that is I need a business sponsor. So you got to be making money for me to be able to do that.
It's a work in progress. I mean, maybe we could do like a cost sharing or something, you know, 20-50 and 30% on the back end or something. we could figure this out as we go. I happen to have the logo readily available, so I mean, this ad sponsored by on the bottom, and it'll be fine.
Now, rough ballpark monetarily, what would a sponsor have to throw out?
I haven't even researched it.
Now the question: are you talking the triple B beer, or are you talking triple B itself?
I mean, more going for the beer, but you know, either one.
Okay, I'll leave the beer up to him because he's the brewmaster. As for the show, I mean, we can talk to Cheddar later. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
I mean, as far as just brewing a beer that was named for Beer Blues BS or whatever, I could do that. But to commercially sell it and have the brewer's license, that gets spendy.
Yeah.
You have to get the federal license, the state license, and the city license. And to get the city license, you have to have a physical brick and mortar address that you're commercially brewing at.
You have enough friends at a local establishment, right? You think we could just work with them on it? You can use your elbow grease there to get some ins, huh?
I think they watch the show, so I mean, maybe. Or at least the episodes that I'm on. I don't know if they watch the rest of them, but
so Local Geek is going to be on every episode from here on out of Triple B. Sorry, Howard, I think you've been replaced.
Well, damn. It was a good run while it lasted.
JS is laughing, so he likes that idea.
I'm good with whatever, but
That sounds like a different beer manufacturer slogan, so I don't know if we can say that. Love it. So we kind of touched on the remodeling of your basement. Have you finally rid yourself of the ghost of Jimi Hendrix?
I think so.
You haven't heard any random songs being played lately?
Not yet. Not lately. I mean, I do hear, occasional screams and whatnot coming from my daughter's bedroom, but that's just because she's a tiny dinosaur. So.
Gotcha. And of course, Local Geek knows, but for the other people who haven't seen it yet, go back a few episodes, find the other episode to this point with JS Gunslinger, because, well, he went to find another drink. The ghost of Jimi Hendrix paid us a visit. Don't know what he was trying to play. I mean, maybe that's just the distortion from the beyond, but he paid us a visit. So it's nice that your residence is based on such historical grounds, or at least attracts that level of stardom to the show.
Whoa, big truck. Whoa, big truck. Whoa, big truck. There we go. I on that note, my son has, I don't know how to explain, like, gift, can see things of that nature. And more than once, he has mentioned things at the house. So you never know. Maybe it's Jimi Hendrix. Maybe it's random guy from 1915. Who knows?
It's odd because as a child, I can't remember how old I was at the time. I mean, maybe 10, somewhere in that age range. The house we lived in at the time was built just before the 1900s. So, I mean, it was, almost 100 years old when we lived there. And whatever reason, I got up at one point in the middle of the night. I think I had to go to the bathroom or something. So it was pitch black, and walk out of my bedroom into the hallway that was connecting the master bedroom and my bedroom. And I took about 2 steps out into the hallway, and I see this like little girl standing there, probably about my age at the time, maybe a couple years younger, what would have been 8-year-old, something like that. Pigtails, blue and white bows in the pigtails, blonde hair, and kind of the same, like a dress like that with the blue and white flowers with like a white bow around as kind of a belt or however the old style you would describe that as, and holding like a doll, what would be in the early 1900s. And she didn't say anything, but she was standing in the hallway, and I can vividly remember it and vividly see her, and I felt this rush of cold air in the hallway. And then I stopped, and I'm like, what is it? What? I don't have any words for this. I can even remember she had black shoes with the lace bows on the top, like they had, way back when. And after I stood there for 30 seconds, I blinked a few times, didn't know what to say, froze in my tracks, and then she disappeared. Never saw her again. No idea if she lived in the house, lived in the area, just was attracted to come say hello to me at that point or whatever. But that was an odd event in my early childhood.
That's interesting. Just about ran a car off the road.
He's too busy listening to ghost stories.
No, moron tried to cut me off.
Oh,
I did.
well, at least you're still not in a snowbank and you're operational.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to go on the snowbank. The tiny car was.
Love it. What about you, local geek? Any weird stories? Supernatural?
Nothing I can really think of. The closest thing I can think of that I had like that is I had a cousin who passed away in 2004 who I was really close with. And it was probably about 10 years after he passed away before I ever had a dream about him. And that dream that I had about him was when I was going through kind of a rough patch. So it was like he was just showing me that he was watching over me or whatever.
Dreams are weird like that, aren't they?
Yeah.
But it's good. You get that little reassurance, whether it's your subconscious reminding you that things are going to be okay, or if it's the supernatural coming in and the essence of those people you knew or even didn't know and coming in and leaving that message for you.
Right.
Something that would be cool to know with the scientific nature of it, but then again, how do you explain it? I saw an article, and I want to know your guys' take on this. The article said that science now has confirmed, I don't know how, but has confirmed that your life flashes before your eyes before you die. What do you guys think?
I think, I don't know how they have proven this through science. However, I think that's a totally real possibility. Given some of the interesting situations I've been involved with, weird things like that happen.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. I mean, most people's deaths aren't like instantaneous. You've got time to kind of reflect on things, and I think that's maybe what it is whether you're laying in a hospital bed knowing you're going to die and just kind of reliving some of the better times of your life, or you fall down, have a heart attack, and you don't die instantly. You start thinking about those things, I imagine.
It's an interesting topic that I just typed into the rundown, and Howard's going to wonder if we were really drunk or if we just went there. And obviously we kind of went there.
We all had too much absinthe.
Yeah. Just you, because you didn't bring any.
True. I didn't share.
Yeah. And knowing that JS was in the area, I mean, he could have stopped by, picked some up on the way back out this way. So
I did offer to clear your driveway, and you just said you were good. So I, didn't know.
I mean, you should have just been more blunt and said, "Hey, I need to stop over. Can I pick up some homebrew from you?"
I could have.
Hey, careful, he's going to turn that sumbitch around. He'll be there in 10 minutes.
Hey, I'd run a couple bottles out for him.
I was doing the whole like girlfriend subtle hint thing that men don't pick up on. There is literally a guy parked on the sidewalk in front of the main bar.
Nice. Not suspicious at all.
Stupid as hell.
What I was thinking is, if it's really tantalizing for him, he could turn around and go do it and just kind of clear your street for you. And then he wouldn't have to worry about jumping over and around those ice ice chunks and everything and getting back into your parking spot. It would just be clear for you. And then you wouldn't have to worry about the city plowing your driveway in either.
With how many people park on my street, it's probably not going to happen anyway, but I don't know that they're ever going to get a chance to plow what they haven't already.
You never know. There's the proof. He's drinking the coffee. He's still rolling.
Just about out. I should have made a pit stop at the gas station.
That's all we need. Live stream into one of the random gas stations. Although I will say, Howard keeps talking about holiday gas stations and holiday coffee being superior to any other convenience store or gas station. So having, I'm guessing, tasted quite a few different variants of coffee. JS, what is your favorite gas station C-store coffee?
I am gonna have to go with Howie on this one. The Holiday, by far, has some of the best gas station coffee that I've had. They now have the bean to cup machines, to where they're as fresh as you can get stale coffee beans. Coffee beans in the machine. You press the button, it grinds them, and then brews you a cup right there on the spot.
Local Geek? Oh, did you hit something there?
There's an Arco gas station here that I'm going to try their coffee because I want some more.
Here we go. This is going to be interesting. People are going to be introduced to Triple B in the best, worst way ever.
If I can cram this giant trailer into this tiny little gas station parking lot.
I'm sure it's fine. Just park it anywhere. Everybody else does.
I'm going to block everything with this, but you know what? I don't care. Ta-da, I win.
He made it. Oh, here we go. I don't see the blue glow.
Oh, this is the Arco he was talking about. I'm guessing this is the one on 6th Street by Sanford.
This is the one on Main Avenue. They closed up. Man, they're closed.
Oh no.
Terrible.
Well, at least you can get some gas without anybody harassing you.
Except the commercials that they play on their pumps there.
And I was really looking forward to more coffee.
Well, I know there's another one, another gas station around the area or two. So,
Senex coffee is terrible. It's god awful. That's the only close one. The Holiday. Oh, the Holiday is all the way down on University, and getting in and out of that parking lot is treacherous in a car, let alone with this rig. There's a Simonson's down the road, though. Let's try that. They probably are already closed because it's a time that's late, and then I don't know what time.
Well, eventually you'll get to either another gas station that has decent coffee, or you'll get home. One or the two.
Well, true. I am going into my business, so I suppose I could just make a cup in the Keurig that I have there. So I'm gonna completely block the entire roadway right now because I don't have a choice.
Uh-oh.
Look at that green light! Ta-da!
Oh, I see what happened. You're making a right and then a left. I was like, why are you blocking traffic? Did you get stuck? Nope, just traffic lights.
I have a 24-foot trailer behind a long box pickup with a blade on the front of it, and pulling out of that gas station and then attempting to get into the left turn lane, I was practically sideways across all 3 lanes.
And not the first vehicle today to do that on that street, I'm sure. So nothing to worry about.
Now, let's see how bad Thayer is.
This is going to be an adventure. It's a good thing that he has a piece of equipment with a bucket on the back and a truck with a plow in the front.
Judging by the amount of people in the bar with the green lettering, I mean, it's okay.
Good plan.
Actually, it's terrible. Never mind.
Nah.
They plowed it, but I think they plowed it with a toothbrush because the ice and snow is very, very thick.
Must not have been the operator that came by my place because he had the front of that motor grader about 10 feet off the ground, cranking down to get all the ice off.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Come on, pick up. You can do it. Ha! I made it.
Here I was waiting for something much more dramatic, like the phone goes sailing up into the air and ends up on the dash, and now we're looking up at space, something crazy, but turned out very, very anticlimactic.
Yeah, there's about a foot of compacted ice and snow on the street right here. But it's hard enough to where I can drive on top of it, so
Fair enough.
the part, I will give you a street view of the business I am about to clear out and let you look how deep this snow here is. Because this is ridiculous.
You're seeing it and hearing it here first. This is live on the ground reporting. A first for Triple B. Going mobile. It's good that he put his hat on because it's cold out there. You better put your booties on. It's cold out there every day.
I got booties on, all right. I got the big ones on today. Okay, so not only did the city leave a about 2 foot, maybe 3 foot high berm in front of the building, if you can see. That's the parking lot I have to clear out.
So where do you end up putting it? The snow that you're about to push out of there?
I'm going to put all of it over there. You see that little ridge right there? That is where all of this snow is going to end up going.
Awesome. The coffee first, right?
Well, I just kind of want to see how deep this parking lot is. Currently, it's up to my knees. Oh, my God. Look at this.
We have to remember that, without making a size joke on you, that you're not the most vertical person.
Hey, I am officially 3'2", okay? Oh,
That's good.
man, this is terrible. Okay, I don't know how the hell I'm going to do this, but I'm going to try.
One scoop at a time, right?
Yeah, I'm not even going to try walk all the way to the door. I'm going to plow myself a path first.
That's kind of surprising for you. I mean, coffee second? Like, are you feeling okay? You delusional?
A little bit. I've had very little sleep in the last 3 days.
You say I know about where you are, so I'll track your phone, be over there, I'll take you to the hospital. We'll make it okay.
There you go. I'm not far from the hospital, so it'd be a short trip.
Once I get there, yeah. So, local geek, we didn't get to talk to, or ask you about your coffee. Do you drink coffee? Do you like coffee? Where's your coffee choice location?
I am not a big coffee drinker. If I do have coffee, it's something like a cappuccino or something with a lot of sugar added to it.
So you go to the fancier places like the Buckstar or perhaps the Bucara.
Yeah, usually that's where I go is Caribou.
He committed the ultimate sin.
I know.
It's okay, I've done it like 5 times.
I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully they pay us. That would be great. Give us each a cup of our beverage of choice.
Yeah, if I do have coffee, that's what I'll get. Otherwise, if I make something at home, it's usually like a tea or I'll get like a pop of some sort.
He's okay, folks.
All right, time for some more live snow moving action. You're probably going to want to mute me because the noises coming out of this thing are going to be pretty horrible.
All right, fire it up, and then we'll shut you down.
I will say, when I start doing donuts, it could be kind of entertaining for the camera.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I'll give you that.
Hopefully, I made some good B-roll video for you.
Absolutely. We got the bucket going up, the bucket going down, snow getting shoved around. It's great.
Well, once I get a little cleared out into this parking lot, we'll make some spins, and you can put that on there and see if you can make anybody throw up.
Probably just be local geek at this rate.
Yeah.
I haven't had that much to drink.
There's still time
to be partaking in the drinking with you. However, they frown upon consuming alcohol and operating heavy equipment.
Yeah, it happens. And that was the funny thing because JS and I were going to meet up this week to have a beer or two or a drink or two anyway. And well, turns out that Snowstorm decided to roll in, and hey, there's a dude randomly walking. Like, okay.
No, that is surprisingly not very loud at all.
Our drinks never end up being 1 or 2. It's usually 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's also over the period of like 10 hours, so I'm sure it's fine. Not that we go anywhere, but
if we do make it to a bar, we close down whatever bar that is, but the last couple times it's just been in Kidder's basement.
the set of the Triple B.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's a cheaper place to go.
Once I finish my basement, we'll have a cool little lounge area to try out.
That'll be good, because then we can get, of course, if you want, because I'm not just going to invite people over to your house, but I can swing by and take Howard hostage. Local Geek can help me, and then we can have things squeaking. Gotta get you some grease for that thing or something.
Ah, Jesus! Oh man!
Like I was saying, not that I want to invite some people or just choose to invite a bunch of extra people over to your place, but again, once it's done, we get the Local Geek and Howard come over, do an episode, check it out. He can point out the fine rich mahogany in the walls and whatnot.
They're Douglas fir, and they're 110 years old.
How do you feel about that, local geek? Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'd be down. I can certainly supply some beers, or maybe I can rig up a jockey box with a keg and.
Oh man, this is gonna be great. I better hit the mute on that. We don't end up with all the super squeaking.
This is gonna be your top-rated episode right here.
Yeah. It's gonna peak. The viewership will peak to right about 30 seconds ago, just especially on the audio version of it. Squeak! Ah! It just.
I'm surprised that the skid steer itself wasn't all that loud, though. I was expecting it to be a lot louder when he fired it up.
Yeah, me too. I thought that there would be, from what he was alluding to, that it would be all angry, I guess would be a good term for it. But just needs to lube up the bearings and the everything with the hydraulic. I don't know. The thing with the thing and the bucket and the boom and make it all good to go. Because I'm sure he's waking up some people out there. Mainly at the bar nearby.
They need to be woke up so they can go home anyway.
Yeah, it's almost. Well, I mean, we got some time, but they're going to start singing closing time pretty soon. And you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
I had that one stuck in my head earlier today.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Didn't even know that, but there it is again. So, I suppose as we've been talking for a little while here, anything else you want to touch on before we hit the road? I mean, JS has already hit the road, but
he looks like he's got a little while ahead of him yet.
Yeah, he's got to find the road again.
Right? Yeah, I didn't have any more topics that I could think of off of the top of my head, so.
Oh, no, he's got the wiper going. This is some sweet action happening.
Are you still recording that?
We're recording it, so hopefully Howard can make some magic, because this is definitely the magic. Magical episode. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you didn't get snowed in too badly over there. And, oh, man. It's been a long week, a short week. Did you have to do a lot of hand shoveling? I forgot to ask about that.
Yeah, I have a electric snowblower that would not have even touched the heavy wet snow if I had taken the effort to shovel my shed out and shovel my gate to be able to get the snowblower to use it. I was like, the amount of snow I'd have to move to do that is the equivalent of what my sidewalk is. So I just shoveled the sidewalk because I knew that the snowblower wasn't going to do much.
Gotcha. We got to get you a heavy duty. Gas! Get out there and kill some snow.
When I have an actual garage, I'm definitely going to get a gas one. But with just having a small driveway and a little bit of sidewalk in front of my house, I couldn't justify spending the money on a big one.
I mean, it depends on your bill for your chiropractic visit coming up.
True.
And that's what I gotta ask JS, and he's gonna be super excited to hear me ask the question. I need to find a screw for my snowblower because the side panel, the little screw came out somewhere at some point in the past. Well, I don't know when it came out. It could have been, 2 months ago, the last time I used it, or a month ago, the last time I used it, or the first, Wednesday, the first day that I started with this storm. Little screw disappeared, so the whole panel on the side around the muffler.
Oh no!
The one screw's good; it's still on there, but the other one's off, so the whole thing just shakes. And of course, I don't want to, ruin it. But I put a temporary screw in there, thinking it might work for a little bit. Within the first 2 minutes of running it today, I saw the screw laying on the ground. So I picked it up, put it in my pocket.
Oh, no.
Yeah. but this heavy snow was trying to kill my snowblower, but it has persevered so far, and I'm hoping it can make it to the next one and the one after and the one after that as well.
Right.
Yeah. That's another thing I was going to mention is that, another reason why Howard isn't on here is because he's too busy taking part in the snow shoveling league competitions, which of course we have their official shirt at beerbluesbs.com in the merch store. So you go to beerbluesbs.com, click on merch, and then you can look for the snow shoveling league line of apparel, which I know is right up your alley as well, local geek.
Oh yeah, I really should have gotten signed up this year.
Well, we didn't think that the season would be going this long, but here we are.
Right.
The true winner of the league is clearly JS, though. I mean, he's got the biggest shovel of all of us.
For sure.
He's pushing that snow around. This is great video. I mean, it's not blurry or crazy. It's just he's doing some donuts. There we go. It's great.
It's kind of entertaining to watch.
For me, it's like a zen moment. I love running the skid steer as well. So
I haven't had the opportunity.
Once you figure out, depending on the model, because the brand, it looks like he's in the yellow brand. And if you go into the darker yellow brand, those two operate similar, and so does the brownish orange brand. They all kind of run along the same. But the green and yellow, I think, runs the similar manner as the white brand. White, black, and red. And their system is completely backwards. It runs mainly by foot pedals, and then you use these, the older ones use the stick controls, and it's all backwards from how it's supposed to be. It's just overly complicated and backwards from what it should be. Like, what we're witnessing here is super easy. You got one joystick, you can push, pull, left, right. You use for the boom and for the bucket. And then you even have thumb controls. So then, say if your bucket has like a grappler on the front or another attachment, you can use that with the thumb. And then the other one, and I might be backwards on those, but because it's been a couple years since I've been behind the controls one. But anyway, you have joysticks for both. So you can use the one to forward, back, left, right. So you can do all your motion with one hand, and then the other one you use for your bucket and boom control. And then there's a gas pedal, basically, just a foot pedal. That's your speed. So you jam the pedal down, the faster everything works. Faster you go. And that's another part of it is you usually have a control up here as well, where you can tune it to like low speed, medium, and then high speed. So then everything generally works faster based on the overall setting. So there's a couple different ways to use them. And like I said, I haven't been in the white, black, and yellow brand, like brand new ones, if they changed it to the superior joystick technology, or if they're still on the stupid foot pedal thing. Whatever. You would have fun.
I would. I've always wanted to, but I've never had the opportunity.
The weirdest thing to get used to is the weight balance of it, because sometimes you feel like the whole thing is tipping forward or backward, and to some extent they're made to do that if you use it correctly. But I'm sad that Howard isn't here to join in, because he and I have run some equipment out on the ranch.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I better put that in the rundown. Well, I think, as Howard would say, we've been talking for quite a while. What, do you agree with that statement there, local geek?
Yeah, it's been pretty close to the 2-hour mark, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember exactly when we started recording, but...
Fair enough. Well, would you like to give us some cheap plugs first? An opportunity for someone else to do some cheap plugs?
Oh, I suppose I could handle some of that here. Make sure people are going out there and visiting us on beerbluesbs.com. Pick up some merch, like the handy dandy glass I've got here. The glare is really getting on it. You can watch the show on YouTube. Pick it up on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, Stitcher, TuneIn, IMDb, Player FM, and I'm sure I'm missing a few others that are out there.
You're doing great. This is awesome. It's like we've done a radio show before, right?
Right? Something like high school.
Just as a side note with the cheap plugs, when I asked the local geek if he'd like to join me, if he was available to join me this evening, you mentioned about talking, and he's doing the spins. He's spinning.
I was trying to figure out what was going on there.
I thought he just jammed it in the right, but nope, he was cruising.
Are you ready for your Tilt-a-Whirl?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. You get dizzy yet?
No.
I am. Whee!
I can just see that somebody at the business next door is probably going to call to say that there's some drunk guy running a skid steer next door. Joke's on them.
What do you think, Derek? Did we? Was it everything you hoped and dreamed for?
Oh yeah, that was fun.
I'll throw the mute back on here so you don't get to hear the horrible squeaking and squealing coming out of this.
Yeah, I mean that's a cheap plug in of itself.
True. The machine needs to be greased really, really bad, but I just haven't gotten that far yet.
Maybe that'll be our remote project. We'll all come out there and grab the grease gun and.
I've got an electric one, so it goes fast.
See? Don't threaten us with a good time.
Right? Grease gun and beer. It sounds like a good time to me.
Especially with the Brill grease. And that's what we should talk about, because if I remember correctly, it was one of the Brill grease beverages that you got to taste, JS.
I believe it was. Was that one of the homebrews?
Yeah.
Yes. I think I remember that one. From what I remember, it was freaking awesome.
Thank you. That one was a good one.
Hey, that was really good. Thank you.
I told you it makes terrible noises. I wasn't lying. It's not so bad when it's muffled in my pocket, but when it's right next to the arms, it's real bad. Yeah, I trying to remember the rubberies. That was the one with kind of a chocolate undertone to it, wasn't it?
I think there was a little bit in there. That was the Scottish ale.
Okay.
It was pretty thick.
Yeah, I like the beers that I have to choose. So
He
We'll
was
have to get
good.
you some of the Chernaya Koshka then. That one was real thick.
Oh yeah? Hell yeah, that sounds good.
Did you end up finishing that one? Because I know it was your winter brew, but I didn't know if you had bottled it, finished it, any of that.
I have a few left. I think I have less than a 6-pack left, but I have a few.
Or did we try? You gave us some of that, didn't you? And I'm just having that amnesia because of the squeaks. I think that's what it is. I'm just
The Russian Black Cat episode is where we had that one.
That's right. He's just smiling away.
Oh, I've been listening to that for 12 hours straight.
Well, you probably can't hear it with the church bells ringing, right?
There's a lot of things ringing right now. It could be church bells. It could be something else. I don't know at this point.
Jingle bells.
Yeah, that could be it too.
Was that Santa Claus that just flew over?
No, that was just one of the snowmen that he ran over with the plow. Had a Santa hat on it. Yeah. So, going back to the old radio days, as in pre-radio, pre-TV, way back in the day, we had we had to make a couple like commercials and a morning show basically, and Local Geek and I teamed up to make the biggest quality episode ever. That's where Millennium quality cars came from, and of course one of the other commercials was the Simpsons Mr. Plow commercial that we can't air on here because it'll get taken down.
The Mr. Plow commercials were amazing.
Mm-hmm. and we have our own Mr. Plow.
That's right.
You don't know whether it's coming or going or what's happening. This is great.
I want to say something really bad, but it's gonna come out really inappropriate. It's not. It's really good, but it's really bad.
Par for the course on this show.
Yeah. I mean, I can throw it out if you want. Future Howard may have to delete it so we don't get fined by the FCC, but you know.
Go for it. We'll let him make that determination, or just cover it up with the stock sound effects of the squeaking skid steer.
We're beyond cheap plugs anyway now, so he might edit it, just end the episode there.
Yep.
What I was gonna say. Told you.
Could go a bunch of different ways there, but we'll just let that one sit in the snowbank.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Well, first of all, I want to thank both of you for joining me and helping me get through another week of the Triple B. Appreciate it. Local Geek, thanks for doing all the cheap plugs, so I pretty much didn't have to do any of the cheap plugs this week.
Yeah.
The biggest one is beerbluesbs.com.
And I nailed that one.
Absolutely. Love it. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and all of the audio services that he mentioned. Sharing is caring. Appreciate it. Did I just hear a whoop whoop in there?
There we go. I'm trying to get some backlighting effect to make myself look more beautiful for the ending.
This is just stupendous.
That could have been a TV star.
Any final words of wisdom from either of you?
If it's blizzarding, stay home.
And drive with your headlights on, right?
Yes.
If you actually have to go out.
Public service. When the white stuff is going sideways, don't go outside.
Yeah. When they close the roads, just don't pretend that you need to go to Walmart and get like bread and 30 other things. Just stay home.
Yes. Yes. Getting a pack of cigarettes is not a life essential need.
I'd say it's a great time to quit.
Right?
Because, I mean, you're just paying someone else to kill you.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You could do more exciting things that don't kill you or kill you a lot slower, like having beverages.
Was that a lemonade Bud Light?
Oh, no. I know that you couldn't hear a damn thing when we were doing the What's on Tap, but it's a rind over matter wheat series beer with lemon and orange zest.
Kind of.
Not bad for a 5%.
All right. I'll say it kind of sounds terrible and good at the same time.
The closest thing I could mix it with would be Lining Kugel with a hint of the one with the orange in it.
Oh, Belgian wheat.
Yeah, like a Belgian wheat or I think Derek might have said it there.
Blue Moon.
Yeah, the Blue Moon. Like
Right.
just a hint.
Cool.
More so the Lining Kugel.
There you go.
Summer Shandy.
Yes.
But anyway. It was a one and done. This one wasn't too bad. I'd give it like a 3.5 out of 5. Just because the taste didn't suck, but it wasn't like, man, I really want 8 of those.
I'd give that super coffee I had like a 2.
2 out of 10? 2 out of 5?
I mean, 2 out of 5 is being generous. 2 out of 10 is more realistic.
Okay.
You said that one was a Senex coffee?
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Well, the good thing, I think, is if you're running low on oil or if you want to grease up some of those different areas that need to be lubed, maybe dump some of that coffee on it and it'll help.
Would probably do it.
Local Geek, any closing words of wisdom?
No, I can't think of anything, but I will say this is probably one of the funnest episodes I've been on, mostly because we've been able to watch JS doing the plowing. Unfortunately, the viewers aren't going to see a ton of that, but
Well, it's all right.
The good thing is I've recorded enough of it once I got the system rolling. So depending on how generous Howard is feeling of having a spinning camera next to the action for half the episode, we could see a sizable amount of shitties. We'll just say that.
Perfect.
So we'll hope for the best. But I mean, as for right now, I think we got to call it a night. So JS can get some work done. Local Geek can get back to brewing, and I can get back to. I gotta find Ryan's toy for him because he's all sad laying in the chair over here.
is that what he keeps tapping you for?
Yeah, he was. He got sad enough that I hadn't got up and grabbed it for him that he laid down in the chair over here. He's like, fine, I'll wait. But anyway, for this episode, it's episode 56, by the way.
Wow.
We had, if it was season 10, episode 55 and 56, that'd be something. But we're into year 2. So technically episodes 2 and 3 are like 2-2 and 2-3. So anyway, we're way out of here. We don't need to worry about that. We're just rolling episodic numbers. Find us wherever you want to find us. That's YouTube, Facebook, the website, all the audio services. Search Beer, Blues, and BS if you would. And sharing is caring. Thumbs up is even better too, because, well, it helps us get in front of more people thanks to the old algorithms. But thank you to Local Geek for bringing the beverage knowledge. Thanks to JS Gunslinger for slinging the snow this evening. Appreciate it. And, well, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Triple B. So, for my co-hosts again, I am the man, the myth, legend, Mark Kidder. Remember to keep your glass at least half full. There's free beer tomorrow, and we will catch you on down the blizzardy, snowy, dusty Tuscan Highway. We'll catch you on the next one.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
This might be one of the first times I've ever said that I hope somebody on this show isn't drinking.
Yeah.
No?
He can neither confirm nor deny these nor any other allegations at this time.
It's only coffee.
Only special coffee.
I did have someone pay me in a beer earlier, though.
There you go.
Nice.
I was tooling around Lincoln doing different driveways, and I came across this couple that were shoveling, and they were having a hell of a time with the snow berm that the city had left for them. I peeked my head out, and they're like, "Can you do this?" Absolutely. How much you want? Nothing. Don't worry about it. I get it all cleaned up. Guy walks up, hands me a 20 and a pounder of Miller Lite. Goes, "Here you go, man."
Nice.